Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 118 of Psycho's Platters. We're going to call this episode, Helped by Coffee, Sign Everyone Signs Part 2, because I happen to have got my East Freely t-shirt on. I've got more albums from my Illinois collection that none of you guys have gotten to see lately. Wanted to let you know really quick, my dad had his lung surgery. That part turned successful. We're hoping to see him maybe get out of the hospital in the next day or two. Me, on the other hand, I ended up developing a blood clot in my right leg after I got out of the hospital. And that now is what's been sidelining me. I'm telling you, it could stop any time now. So please continued prayers, VC, on both fronts of the health issues. All right, so we start right off here, right off the bat, with a signed copy of the Righteous Brothers' Greatest Hits signed by Bill Medley. Now, the Righteous Brothers were originally called the Paramours. They started out in 1962, started recording in 63 for Moonglow Records, and had two hits, Little Latin Loopy Loo and My Babe. In 64, they go to Phil Spector and Phil S. Records, where they cut such hits like You've Lost That Loving Feeling, Unchained Melody, and Just Once in My Life. For your information, You've Lost That Loving Feeling, so far as of now, has the record of being the most plays on radio. Over 9 million plays. Can you believe that? That's crazy. 9 million spins of that song. Fantastic. 66, they go to Verve. Spector sues. They end up cutting Soul and Inspiration. Beautiful hit, right? Kind of sounds like Spector, but it's not. Bill Medley did his homework. He produced it. They break up in early 1968. Medley goes solo. Jimmy Walker from the Knickerbockers, Lies, goes and jumps into Bill Medley's spot until 1971. They only cut one album called Rebirth. In 1974, Medley and Hatfield get back together to cut Alan O'Day's Rock and Roll Heaven. Yeah, he wrote that. I didn't know that. So they end up having a big hit on that. Pretty much 76 to 81. They end up being real quiet. In 81, they recut Rock and Roll Heaven. They updated it a little bit. And then they just kind of tour and a little bit quieter until about 1990 when the movie Ghost comes out and they go off and put out Unchained Melody as part of the soundtrack and as part of the film, right? If you've ever seen the movie. Well, get this. Curb Records, go figure, goes off and signs these guys up and says, hey, let's recut this sucker and put it out. So they do that, which leads them to as of right this minute, another record that has not been topped by anybody else. They are the only duo in Billboard history to chart with the original version of a song and a recut version of the same song in the top 20. That's right. They did that in 90 for Unchained Melody. After that, pretty much goes quiet again. They do the tours and stuff. Bobby Hatfield dies in 2003 due to coke ingestion, which led to heart failure, and Bill Medley has been pretty much singing solo since. This is the front of this. I also happen to have the booklet from the April 1st, 2008 show that he came and did this. Very nice man. I ended up getting some CDs also signed at the time. So I like that a lot. Next album here. Black Oak, Arkansas, Keep the Faith from 1972. This one's an interesting little, got the front here. This one is signed on the back from Jim Dandy and Ricky Lee Reynolds. This one here, of course, was signed in 2009 when I saw them at the Harley-Davidson grand opening concert in Rogers, Arkansas. They originally started out as the Nobody Else in 1963 in the Black Oak and Monette, Arkansas area. They go off and they jump to Stax Records. They moved to Memphis in 1969. They cut one album which went nowhere. 1970, they go to move to LA. They bump into Ahmet Aragon. Hope I'm pronouncing that right. Ends up signing to Atco. They changed their name to Black Oak, Arkansas. Lo and behold, that's what you've got. This particular album here in 1972, for example, happens to have Keep the Faith. Keep the faith, you'll need it. I love that song. Fever in My Mind is another one. But it's really cool stuff. It's Southern Boogie. That's really what it is. If you like that kind of stuff, it's beautiful. Pretty much what happened, though, by 1975, roughly, Black Oak kind of lost their favor. No offense with some of their fans, but Black Oak per se, the name kept going till about 1978 after they jumped, they Capricorn Records from Atco. They cut a couple, no, excuse me, I'm sorry. It goes Atco, MCA, then Capricorn. But by 1978, they pretty much were done with any new material per se, at least until the early 80s. But they're still around today, and it's basically, like I said, it's Jim Dandy and Ricky Lee Reynolds with, I'm led to believe, an occasional appearance by the bass player Pat Doherty when that time comes about. So that's kind of cool. Pat came back into the band for a little while too in the 90s. So you know what? They've got a CD out that came out about 2 years ago, I think now. Try to find it if you can. They're back on Atlantic Atco. So fantastic for them. All right. So let's see here. Next one here. Al Stewart. Yes, I've got Al Stewart. Actually, let me show you. Go chronological here. I met Al Stewart at the Woodstock Opera House in the mid 2000s. He basically, though, he was born in Scotland. He played the first ever Glastonbury Festival. He knew Yoko Ono before she even met John Lennon. Also, he shared an apartment with Paul Simon in the mid 60s. His first 45 in 1966 had Jimmy Page on guitar, and later on in 1969, for his CBS album Love Chronicles, Jimmy Page is on about half of that album too. This particular one here, Modern Times from 1975, he signed this for me. The cool little thing, there's 3 facts about this little album cover maybe most people don't know. Number 1, the woman in the picture is David Gilmour's wife at the time from Pink Floyd. Second thing, the Rolls Royce that is in this photograph was owned by Jimmy Page, and he let him borrow it for the day for the photo session. Now here's the third bit of fun part. See this house? Photoshopped. It was not in that location. Go figure. That was not in mid-70s Photoshop. Boom, they stick it in there into this picture. So it's not where it was placed. Kind of goofy. Here's the front. Here's the back. Some of my favorite songs off of here. I do like Carol. I do like Modern Times, and I do like Dark in the Rolling Sea. Good stuff there. He happens to have here. I'm trying to think. Anybody interesting? Oh, I didn't know this. Additional guitars was Isaac Guillory. Isaac Guillory, if that name doesn't sound familiar to you, he was a member of the Crying Shames, late 60s version. I think that's pretty cool. I didn't even know he was involved in that. But yeah, so I'm trying to think. I don't see anybody else familiar in this point. But very nice. Oh, and Alan Parsons. Alan Parsons does string arrangements for this album too. So very, very nice. To jump from that to a signed copy of Time Passages from 1977. This was the second big album he had because the first one was The Year of the Cat. Well, this one here, of course, you've got Time Passages and I thought On the Border was on this one. Never mind. But here's the front. Here's the back. This is on Arista Records, of course. All right. How about this? Back in 2006, I went and saw the Marshall Tucker Band perform at the Norris Center in St. Charles, Illinois. Go figure, they were doing a benefit for the Fraternal Order of the Police over there. No, not the police sting Stuart Copeland. We're talking police, okay? Freeze. So I managed to meet them. I had the front row. I taped the gig. Yeah, I did a bootleg. I still have it, and I played it recently, and it still sounds good. I'm actually thinking about burning it on CD and giving it to the Tucker Band, and let them do what they want with it. I think it's a pretty cool gig. But these ones here, Doug Gray is the only original member left. That band started in '72 in South Carolina, but it all came down to by the mid '80s, you were down to 2 original members, and now you're down to 1. Some of the other band members, unfortunately, signed on these albums I didn't care for, but But you've got Doug Gray, that autograph. This one here, New Life from '74. He also signed Searching for a Rainbow. This one on the back, they signed. And like I said, Pat Elwood and B.B. Borden, who was in Mother's Finest and Molly Hatchet, he signed a couple of these albums too. And I'm like, by the time I realized what they were doing, I really didn't, I wasn't very happy with it. But so we got Together Forever. Now we get into the Warner Brothers period, Running Like the Wind, front and back. And then pretty much the last album that Tucker did with most of the original lineup, Just Us from 1983. After that, like I said, everybody but Doug Gray and Jerry Eubanks left. They all split ski by early '84. There's been a lot of deaths in this band, and basically it's Gray, Eubanks, and Paul Riddle, the drummer, who I think works at a college, if I remember correctly, in music. He does that. That's the front. That's the back on that one. Okay, let's see. I think I might have showed you at one point or another. No, you know what? Screw that. I'm going to save this for the next part because I'm almost getting to 12 minutes here. So, like I said, the Tucker stuff was really, really cool. Doug Gray was really a very nice man. I ended up, told him, I said that if I ever met him, I would, because he liked Crown Royal, and I'd buy a Crown Royal, brand new bottle of Crown Royal, and I would say, okay, look, let's have some shots. That's what I told him. I said, we'll have some shots. I still have yet to honor this, but hopefully someday I'll get to do that too. All right, hitting on 12 minutes here. Listen, guys, please go and subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. I try to educate and entertain, and I'll also give you shout-outs too, like I did with all the ones that have pretty much have subscribed. I don't have any new subscribers this week, but I'd like you to be. All right, shout-outs: Wax Museum with Ronnie Dark and Night Owl Lounge with Mike Adams, Sunday nights, 6 to 9 p.m. Central Standard and 9 to 10 Central Standard. Best damn Sunday rock and roll radio shows that are out there, but there also is This Is Rock and Roll Radio. I know Carl and company, I watch these videos once in a while. That would be 8 to 11 p.m. on Westcott Radio. Go like all of their pages on Facebook. They're all there. Thrifty Music Collectors Group, Tim Smith and Company. He's still going. I saw he had a post today, and I was pretty happy about that. So, go check out Thrifty Music. Shindig Magazine. I love Shindig Magazine. The last issue that I saw was Small Faces, if I remember correctly. You can never get enough Small Faces. There are, but for 4 Small Faces. Wasn't that the name of an album cover? I don't know. But I like that band too. So, and I think they even talk about the Faces too after that one. And now that at least you've got 3 of them temporarily back together, Rod finally gets his butt off and does it. Whatever. But Shindig Magazine, the best damn English rock magazine out there. And lastly, the YouTube vinyl community. Without you, I wouldn't be here, and none of you would be either. So take care. God bless. See you next episode.